We go back into the Leafs, and I'm going to say right out of the gate, I don't think they're a cup contender. I think you can look at their roster and you can go, they have one of the best forward groups in the league. But I think to be labeled a cup contender, especially before the season has even started, I want to see prior success from the season before. And they've yet to win a playoff round since 2004. So I think there are teams, like if you look at Tampa Bay, they've had playoff success. Plus they have the roster, so you can say they're a cup contender. Boston, they've had playoff success. They have the roster. They're a cup contender. Pittsburgh, Washington.
Yeah.
I don't think you can look at the Leafs and go, this is a team that can win 4 rounds in the playoffs.
Not unless they get a defenseman. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My thing with the Leafs, and you just can't stress enough, is you just can't match up against them.
Yeah.
It's just, especially at home. When you're on the road, if you're at whatever the new rink's called, the Rogers Center, Rogers Place, you can't. It's near well impossible to match up against the Maple Leafs. And the thing with the Leafs too, but I mean, the Leafs fans will know it themselves. Kapanen, I really like this kid. This kid can fly.
He's fast.
He can fly. That Johansson kid led the American Hockey League in scoring. I think won MVP of the Calder Cup and all that stuff. Like he, even with the Bruins last year in the playoffs, he scored a couple goals, had a couple points. They have so much depth and so much skill, and I just think that obviously it's not going to be good enough to win a cup. I don't think unless you bring in defensemen, and that power play. That power play alone is going to win them. So they can go there like the other day against Montreal. They look god awful against the Habs in Montreal when they won game 5-3. But just because of that power play,
they won the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and the Habs coughing up some fucking.
But I mean, my God, and I mean, you look at Carey Price, still arguably the best. He has no chance in some of those goals.
Yeah, no, a lot of the goals he's let in preseason, it's been the defense allowing cross-crease passes, like east-west passes, like.
That forward group is absolutely frightening, and I mean we're watching them right now without Nylander.
Yeah.
Right, so they get him back, they bring in a good defenseman. I don't know how it's not them in Tampa, in the conference semifinals.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's not, and then when you get to them, even if the Leafs do get a solid defenseman.
If they get a defenseman.
Them and Tampa's still a coin toss.
Yeah.
It's still a coin toss.
Okay, so I'll ask you this. If they don't get a defenseman this year, and you're rolling with what you have now, in Riley Gardner, Hainsey, Dermott, Zaitsev.
Yeah, and then whoever they put as the sixth guy.
Yeah. If that's what you're rolling with that forward group, do they win a playoff round?
Well, you lost the Bruins last year in Game 7 in the third period, and now you have John Tavares. So yes, I think they win that. I think they win they beat anybody in the first round.
You have John Tavares, but you've taken out JVR and Bozak.
I know, but Bozak, here's the thing with Bozak. Bozak he's a good player. I mean, whatever. Bozak is legitimately a third line center on a good team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So losing Bozak, it's not terrible because I mean, where was he going to play anyway with John Tavares? The JVR one's not nearly as bad as people think because JVR was so good on the power play.
Yeah.
That line last year did not play nearly as much with JVR and Bozak because they just don't get around the ice that good. Tavares is probably just as good, if not better, than JVR on the power play in front of the net.
Yeah.
So wherever JVR, what do you have last year? 30-something goals. A lot of his production came from the power play. And like I said, you're not going to have like Komarov out there doing 7 goals, right? So you're not just banging people. Matt Martin, he didn't play much last year. So those guys there that are gone too, those captains that's going to take Komarov's spot of the Johansson, they get 12, 15 goals. I mean, right there alone is going to eventually add up to JVR's total with Tavares and all them, right?
Are you at all concerned that your team's going to get picked on where they don't have someone to stand up?
It's funny he said it because I was thinking that the other night, and I was going down.
Because there are still some.
Boston's the only team, right?
Boston, but Washington still has Tom.
Oh
Wilson
no, out of the division.
You mean in the division? Okay,
I mean in the division, yeah. I look at, I mean Ottawa just because they can chuck Oboretsky. I'll tell you that Brady could chuck it.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah, for both.
We're gonna hate him a lot.
Definitely.
We're gonna hate him a lot.
But even the Habs though, like once Shea Weber gets back, he's not fun to play against. Andrew Shaw's a bit of a pest. Max Domi's tough.
But I mean, if Andrew Shaw's on the ice against Matthews trying to piss him off, I'm happy with that. You know what I mean?
Touche.
If he's on the ice against Matthews or Tavares trying to piss them off, I'm okay with that. Weber, that's a good one. But the game is so different now, man. Like, I know Washington, they were the biggest team last year and they won it. So why? But I don't know. Besides the Bruins, Buffalo has some tough guys too, and they got some big defensemen. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think people get intimidated like they used to. and I could be completely wrong because obviously I didn't play in the NHL, but I don't think intimidation is nearly as bad as it used to be. And especially with these skilled guys, you're telling me when they're 16 years old, 17 years old in junior, they don't have 20-year-olds trying to take their head off? What 20-year-old wants to be, outplayed or like embarrassed by a 16 or 17-year-old? So I think
strength level will be way different though.
Oh yeah, but I just mean you see way more greasier stuff in gym. Strength wise, I was saying it the other night. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the play against you've probably seen it. Marner gets the puck on against Montreal. I don't know who's on cross check him. He loses the puck, he kicks it back up to his skate and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to be an issue. But like if this was 10 years ago when you had goons in the league and all that, maybe it could become a factor.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it definitely, if they were to play Washington Series, hell yeah.
Yeah,
because that's was the thing in the series 2 years ago.
Yeah, through the regular season.
Yeah,
maybe
playoff
not.
Wise, yes,
but in the playoff wise, maybe because I think the tear that Vegas was on last year, they seemed unstoppable.
Yeah,
to the point where I was like, man, like if are they going to beat Ovi? Are they going to take Ovi's chance at winning the cup? But I think Tom Wilson was huge.
Oh my goodness!
He just stopped them in their tracks, and I think that was a huge factor in a lot of their young or a lot of their small, speedy players like Marchessault.
Well, you grow an extra foot.
Yeah, it's like they have to really second guess when they're going into the corners, when they're going into the wall. It's like, man, is Wilson on the ice?
He almost killed Marchessault a few times.
Like they can't make those quick little plays without looking. They literally have to make sure and go, okay, I'm not getting laid out here.
That's right.
So I think really, in the playoffs, I think it really.
Well, that was the one thing 2 years ago when the Leafs played Washington. You just tell one thing that the Leafs didn't have was the physicality against.
So you got to wonder if maybe at the deadline coming up, the Leafs go after and they could acquire a Kester, a big guy for like a.
But that's the thing; he has to be able to play.
Yeah.
Because they had these guys last year, right? They had Matt Martin, who was always a healthy scratch. Didn't even matter if they played Boston in the playoffs. He was in the press box. They had Komarov, who would go out there and bang and that. Right?
I think he's a big loss to the Leafs. I liked him, and
my thing with Komarov,
he wasn't as good as he was a couple years ago.
When he first, it's so good to stand out when you're on a bad team.
Yeah.
And you're an okay player, like Komarov was. But when you're on a good team, it's hard to put those guys, these other kids that can just fly. Yeah. Just completely fly and make a play with the puck.
Yeah.
Not have to stand in front of that and just bang away at it, right? It's so much more skill.
Yeah.
But Komarov, he might be, but I don't know, like you said, playoff time, maybe you worry about that.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about you in the regular season. So if they get a defenseman, are they a contender?
What's that?
If they get a defenseman, are they a
contender? If they get a defenseman...
Yeah. It's a 7-game series against Tampa.
Yeah. If they get a defenseman, I'll be honest with you. I'm worried that Dubas is going to make that trade and it's going to complete the team. Because that's all they need to really complete this roster. Is to trade one of those forwards to get. I do think they need a legitimate number one, or at the very least a number two, and hope that Riley turns into a number one. Because you know what I mean. I do think, and if you're trading one of those forwards, you damn well better get a top pairing defenseman.
See, here's my thing. I don't know
even if it's a young player that needs a couple years to develop.
Because they're at the point now, and there's rumors. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago, that they were going hard after Brandon Montour for Anaheim before he was even in the NHL. That would have been awesome. But that would have been really, really, really good to get him.
Yeah.
But the Leafs at the point too, like even if you don't trade one of your big forwards or anything, because they're not making any money right now anyway, none of those three, so it's not going to be a cap issue this year to bring in a big defenseman. The Leafs are at the point to trade first-round picks.
Yeah.
And some prospects to bring in a guy, and then maybe you try to ship Patty Marleau out, 1 year left in his deal, $6 million, right?
Yeah.
So there's ways, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know who's out there. Like I said, we don't know who's not going to re-sign by the end of the year.
Yeah, but as of right now, without the defenseman, I don't think they're a cup contender.
No, they win one round.
Yeah, they'd be lucky to, because Anderson throughout the season will again be it'll be his third season, likely taking the most shots in the league or close to the most shots in the league, and keeping them afloat somewhat through games that they have to win, high-scoring games that they have to win 5-4, 6-5. And once you get to the playoffs, I just don't know how much, if you don't have that defenseman in there to kind of give him some support, I just don't know how he can. Maybe he wins a round, but after that, you see how hard the playoffs are. Have been,
like I said, especially as a new format. The format's near. Well, there's no the first round. Let's say you do got a Florida or Boston first round, you're not going to then you're guaranteed Tampa next round.
Yeah,
That's so. I mean, you could honestly make the case Tampa and Toronto could be 1-2 when it's all said and done, because Tampa and Toronto are going to play Montreal, Detroit, Ottawa,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Pittsburgh, Washington, they're still going to have to play tough teams in the division.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the new playoff format. You're right. I mean, there's no one round that might beat if they don't bring in a good quality defenseman.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna finish it right quick by saying I'm hoping, and I think they're capable of it, that the Habs, and I really hope this happens, just to kick off this goddamn rivalry.
Hot take.
Yeah. Here's my hot take. I want and hope, and I think it can happen, that Montreal finishes third this year in the Atlantic
division?
In the division. And I think I have in my prediction, I think I had Florida in the wild card spot and Buffalo.
So
just
who do you
missing.
have 1, 2, 3 in the Atlantic?
Tampa, Toronto,
Yeah, and then Montreal?
and then Florida.
Okay.
And the reason why I have Florida a little lower is because I can't see Luongo.
That's my payroll with Florida too.
I can't see Luongo playing a full season.
Yeah, that's.
And I think he'll play enough to keep them in the race. And then their team's good enough, their defense and their
they
forward
gotta
core.
stay healthy.
Yeah, they got to stay healthy. I think that can get them into the wild card. And I can see Montreal getting that third spot, Leafs in second, which means they'd meet in round 1 of the playoffs. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, I would
wanna
love
see
that.
the Habs and the Leafs play in round 1 of the playoffs.
What
Because
if-
the league needs it and we need it as fans.
Ooh, but I tell you, oh my God, we've never. Well, I mean, you've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I think the last time they met in the playoffs was in the 70s, which is crazy.
Yeah, and then the year.
It would really kick off. this
Gilmore
new
got high
generation
stick by
rivalry.
Gretzky.
Yeah.
The Leafs would have. Gretzky would have been kicked out of the game. Leafs
Yeah.
would have won. It would have been Leafs Habs
In
Cup
the
finals.
Cup final.
Could
yeah.
you imagine?
Yeah. We were robbed of that, but we weren't robbed of the cup. So no, but I do think that could happen because if you, I mean, Habs would somewhat have to overachieve, or everything would have to go right for them to get in that position. But
Yeah.
Tampa, Toronto, Montreal, then with Florida in the wild card, that means I only really have Buffalo,
Yeah.
Detroit, and Ottawa missing the playoffs.
So do you? Well, okay. So you would
and
have.
I don't think that's too far fetched.
You would have Tampa, Toronto, Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Would you have Florida in the wild card? You said,
Yeah.
and you would have Boston missing, or Boston also getting the
Oh,
wild card?
Boston. Yeah.
It's so hard. It's
See, that's
so
the thing.
hard. I mean, you could. I mean,
You know what? I remember what I had was Tampa, Toronto, Montreal, Boston in the wild card. Florida just missing because of Luongo.
We got.
That's what it
I got.
was.
Obviously not Montreal.
And then I think Buffalo, then Detroit, and
Buffalo's
then
an
Ottawa
interesting
dead
team.
last. I don't know how Ottawa's going to even manage to suit up for games and feel good about
Ottawa's
themselves.
at the point now where they're literally having to have kids make the team, like
Yeah.
for men make just to have. They don't just to sell tickets.
Yeah, and Boucher's going to want to play that absolutely awful
Boring,
system
boring,
that the players
boring.
hate, and they're going to fight against. It's just going to be a nightmare.
You
season
can't,
for
yeah,
them.
like you're asking people to drive 45 minutes outside the Ottawa to go watch boring ass hockey.
Oh my god!
They
yeah,
wonder
it's
why
just-
nobody. It's
yeah,
brutal.
It's crazy.